FlintTalkRadio.com.
Good morning. My name is Terry Bankert. This is Flint Talk Radio. This is my show, Liberal and Live. It's Saturday morning. What is this? August 9th. I'm broadcasting to you from Flint, Michigan. I've been off for a week or so. We're getting about 58 hits. We're trying to build this number up to about 1,000. So we're just in the beginning stages here. If you'd like to call in, I have my cell phone. You'll call my office number, little trunk here. It's area code 810-235-1970. I'll answer any question you might have and anything else. I just left a one half hour live radio program on WFLT 1420 AM radio, which I've done for a couple years. And today I talked about a family law issue, long-term marriage. And if you want to go to my website, you can see that article. Just Google attorneybankert.com, go to writings, and you'll find that article. What I do today is I will talk to you about articles that I've posted on my Google blog, Good Morning Flint, and just to kind of give a summary. And if you want to find out what those are, go to flinttalk.com. And that's the principal bulletin board blog thread for Flint, Michigan. And under my thread on that, Good Morning Flint, you'll be able to read the articles that I'm going to reference today. So that's what we're doing. Who am I? I am a 57-year-old family law attorney out of Flint, Michigan. I have a bunch of college degrees. Doesn't really matter. I used to be city clerk of the city of Flint. I used to be the ombudsman of the city of Flint. I've personally investigated a couple hundred police brutality cases and written public reports, and I'm here to just help you break down the barriers to your becoming more active in your community. I've had my day in the sun. I want to do nothing more than to help convey information and get people active. If you want to join me on my Facebook account, go to Terry Bankert. I've got about 900 members, and I post information regularly to that. Also, this is within my theory that people should also become an expert at something other than their job. So I've opened up a blog called Energy Alternatives Internet Advisor. It's one of my Google blogs. You can find it linked from flinttalk.com. It's got a good start to it. I've got a rolling blog that shows the snippets of every other blog that I've found that I think is decent in terms of what they're talking about, in terms of how we need to address this oil shortage, how we need to address our need for alternative fuels, how in the heck we can produce more electricity, and what is a hybrid car. So the Energy Alternatives Internet Advisor is mine. If you would like to make recommendations on how I can make it more effective, I'd be more than happy to. As this particular program grows, about the time that we get the listening audience built up to about 500, I'm going to start bringing in a whole series of guest commentators, and we're basically going to give you alternative information in terms of what's going on in our society, and particularly with Michigan politics and Flint politics, and then the specific issue of alternative fuel. I'm going to say, as I said on WFLT, I'm no longer aligned with any political interest in the city of Flint. I'm purely independent. My dance card's open, but I'm going to principally focus on issue politics from now on and not personality politics. With that said, the call-in number here is area code 810-235-1970. And if you call in, which nobody probably will, but you have this option, just pose a question slowly. I'll repeat it, and then I'll answer it, and we'll have to do our discussion that way. On July 30th, I posted great news for Flint, Michigan. The Chevy Volt, a one-of-a-kind plug-in electric gas hybrid car, is going to have part of it built in the city of Flint. The Volt is a battery-powered vehicle that is designated to travel about 40 miles. And after that, the car would switch to an internal combustion engine, and we're going to build part of the engine. The four-cylinder engine built at the plant would also go into the new Chevy Cruze, a smaller vehicle that would be produced by General Motors in the future. So from the working men and women of the city of Flint and the greater Genesee County area, thank you, General Motors. We have 2 bits of solid work that's going to come to your plant, General Motors plants, and we're going to show you that the skilled men and women of Flint can build cars better than nobody else in the world. We understand globalization. We understand through our unions that wages can be renegotiated and work conditions will be renegotiated, but our union will protect us, but they're working with you. So don't be afraid to come to Flint. We got the strongest, toughest, best people on the planet, and we'll help you make these cars. And again, this is an example of alternative fuels. These hybrid cars are going to be the wave of the future. There's a need for our state representatives and our congressional delegation to get behind alternative energies and hybrid cars. So the next time you talk to your congressman or your state representative, ask them what they're doing to create incentive packages for alternative cars to come to Flint, Michigan. We're in the process of providing tax incentive packages for General Motors, and I know there's a lot of discussion about that. Well, we've given them tax incentives before, and they left. Well, okay, but they didn't leave as fast. The leadership of the city of Flint, the leadership of Genesee County, didn't create these tax incentive packages. Congress created them, and they exist. And if we don't offer them, why should we expect General Motors to come here? So when these tax incentive packages are on the books for an operation such as General Motors, we give it to them. We want their work here. We should do everything we can do to get them here. If we have to repave the streets leading to the plants, repave the railroads leading to the plants, help them create special mechanisms at the airports like the intermodal hubs, we should be doing it. That's the role of government. Get the work here. So to the people of Flint, when these tax incentive requests come before the Flint City Council, don't oppose them, encourage them. If you want to oppose tax incentives, go to Congress. Say it's not fair that depressed local economies have to compete with one another. But until somebody changes that, we need to support General Motors to get more work here. So the vote could be our future. And this Flint citizen should consider attending this meeting. I put this on my blog, but it's the next public meeting is before the Flint City Council, August 25th, to decide on grants and tax breaks for the automaker. The public can address the Flint City Council at 5:30. I'm going to encourage people to go to that and observe. I'm going to go and to speak if you have a position on it. I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to report back what I saw. But we need General Motors back here. Okay, our elected leaders have left us disarmed when they allowed globalization to occur without regulating monopolistic activity. And right now, we need to get this work back. There's going to be a certain leveling off. With the increased cost of gas, that increases transportation costs. These plants are going to want to be built closer to the populations that are going to buy their cars. But we need to protect ourselves from countries like China and other countries that subsidize their labor to defeat our ability to build these cars. So Congress needs to get on the stick and watch our borders. I'm not saying create economic barriers. I'm saying protect free market, because the Republicans won't tell you that. They'll talk free market all the time, and then they'll be the first ones to come in and want subsidies for General Motors, subsidies for Chrysler, subsidies for the U.S. farmers to keep these industries afloat. That's supply, when supply and demand might demand their demise. So there's never a completely free market, and we have a right to demand that our elected officials protect our borders by not letting sovereign nations undercut our private corporations and the ability to deliver goods to market. So I think Clinton, Congress, everybody there let us down. But that's yesterday. Today we need to reinvigorate ourselves to protect ourselves in world competition and also get as much work in our country, in our state, and in the city of Flint as we can. We have the best workers in the world, and if anybody from any other plant, any other industry has any hesitancy to locate in Flint, Michigan, you're dead wrong, okay? We are an educated, highly motivated, highly skilled workforce. To some respects, we've learned our lessons, and we're going to compete. Come on in. On July 30th, on my blog, Good Morning Flint, I also talked about oil man T. Boone Pickens. He continues to be the pitchman for wind and natural gas for U.S. energy needs. He acknowledged Wednesday of that week that he has a plan for pushing us to use more wind power and natural gas to replace foreign oil. And he is behind some initiatives and personal funding to generate wind energy. And that's a good thing, okay? What we need to understand, though, is that he is a self-made billionaire using his control of natural gas to make his fortune. And the use of alternative energies will also help him increase his wealth for the alternate uses of natural gas. So as long as we understand that, we need to take a look at these initiatives. I think the public sector should lead it. I think that with this phenomenal change that's going to occur, we either have here's how free market works. If there's only one T. Boone Pickens, I want my government involved to keep this guy from raping us. But if we have 50 T. Boone Pickenses, equally wealthy, equally motivated, competing, then you stand back and let the best man win or best woman win. But you still need government to protect us from monopolistic control. But we need to realign this country's use of oil, where we get our energy from. We need to up our electrical usage, decrease the percentage of reliance on petroleum. That's how we'll free ourselves from the monopolistic control of the oil cartels that are about to strip us of our middle class if we don't wake up. But there's a lot of things happening, and we're pretty resilient. We just need to stop the oil addiction in the United States. And that's our starting point, and the sooner we do that, the better off we will all be. So I talked about this last week on my blog, Good Morning Flint. You can find this on my Facebook. If you join my Facebook, you can go to flinttalk.com and go to the thread that I'm allowed to utilize. I don't own it. Steve Myers owns it, to use on flinttalk.com, of which I'm very appreciative for that. I've tried to listen to some comments that were made concerning how I've organized that thread, and I've tried to essentially post to the thread my summary comments and my personal opinions, and then link back to this larger article. I always write from larger articles, but some of the criticism was correct, that it was really long and kind of convoluted, and I should just focus on what my opinion is and direct people to my citations, because when I blog, I like to have everything cited. Maybe it's because I'm a lawyer, but I like it to generate from sources that have checked the facts out, just not my personal whim or opinion. And my focus is on breaking news, and I do what I call morphed articles, which at all times I'm trying to avoid copyright infringement and stay within fair use. So I take a lead article, and then I take a look at how other news organizations cover it. And it's actually pretty enlightening. You can really see where the pros are and where the chumps are. Some people barely change the AP article, and some of the better media outlets have their own people go talk to the guy or gal that wrote the book on the topic, or some local persons that's doing whatever the topic's about, and they always increase the dimension. And if you ever want to find out the real story on an issue, take a look at what the comparison between the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and AP release, Reuters, and if I pronounce that right, and then take a look at some overseas publications, particularly anything out of the Arab states, between those five, you're going to find out what the real deal is, and you're going to have then, which is what I do. I create a unique article, and then I exercise the license of a headline writer to make my comments on it, and I also make direct comments, and everything is cited. So that's what I'm doing. This isn't rocket science. I'm just trying to get, from my vantage point, I'm learning something, but I'm trying to get more people involved in the discussion of international issues because it affects us in Flint, Michigan. So my name is Jerry Bankert. This is area code 810-235-1970. Steve, why don't you lift your hand up and tell me how many people are on? All right. We're in triple digits. So thank you for tuning in. I'm also going to post where we can find this, or where you can find these articles posted online later on. A lot of our viewing audience comes from the subsequent posts because here in Flint, Michigan, it is a beautiful Saturday. So that was the article that was on July 30th, and I'd really like you to check these out on flinttalk.com because there's some great posters on there that most of them seem to be conservative, but that's fine. That really get into some intense debates. I tend to focus on these blog presentations because of just there's only so many hours in the day. On Wednesday, August 6th, I posted a blog that I found quite ironic. I was talking a little bit about the local elections that occurred here and just thanking some of the internet personalities that have chosen to run for public office, and just Adam, Ted, Ryan, Steve, for getting involved in politics. And my comments in terms of what it was like to go vote, and my run-ins with some of the people that were in the last mayoral election. And I really hope that Dale and Dane stay involved in local government because we have a new leadership that's emerging. And they're younger than me. I'm probably the tail end of the old guard. We just need to make room and support these guys as they come up. But what I also noted is I'd been in court that day, and I was in an area where child protective proceedings took place, in which parents can be dragged into court because their homes are unsanitary, where cases can be drug on and the kids put in foster care. I actually had one of these because the house was so infested with roaches and other bugs. And I'm sitting in a hallway going in on a different kind of matter to the same space. And I had a friend point out to me that the hallway had 20 roaches crawling around on it. And some inquiry was made in the building. And the building people knew that there was a roach infestation in that county courthouse. Now, how ironic. The very place that we have parents show up every 90 days to demonstrate that they're cleaning their house up from roaches, they get reinfested because the roaches jump under their coats or their clothing and they take them back to the house. I just, some of this stuff is so weird that people are just going to think it's fiction. But I turned them into the health department and I put it on the blog. And I just think, if it's ironic and you think it can't happen, it probably will. On Friday, August 8th, my headline was, God created scientists and told them to go forth. I guess this is my shot at the fact of the people that so oppose stem cell research that they're willing to stop research in the area of cell regeneration and organ regeneration with the specter of taking a renewable cell from a living aborted fetus. Well, they've learned how to do this from other kinds of cells, so that argument's now taken away. And my reflection was that the scientific East Coast establishment has led the way once again. I'd like you to read this blog if you could, or be aware of this. We now have stem cells from a source the religious right cannot protest and impose their outdated opinions on us. One of your family members may live longer because of this break, though. Here in this article and in the citations that I provided are a strong argument for public funding of scientific research. And, we have economic hard times right now, but we still need public funding of research and development so that we can grow our economy and better our society. New ideas will change our society and improve our quality of life. No moral objections from the now politically impotent. I think that the religious right has dominated Republican politics for too long. bringing in a narrow moralistic view, and it's the net result is everything is wrong with the Bush administration. They help cause. Basically, that's my theory, and that's what I talked about on Wednesday, August 8th. This is FlintTalk.com, the show Liberal and Live. Please feel free to call area code 810-235-1970. If you want to send me a comment, you can do so to Attorney Bankert at yahoo.com, or go to my website and give me a connect, and I'll post your answer later on. Again, we're just simply trying to grow some debate. I'm going to, if you'd like to ever be on this program as a guest, in person or on the phone, please feel free and we'll arrange it. We're at the beginning stage of this alternate internet activity, and you're going to find that 5 years from now, this is what everybody's going to be doing. So my hat's off to Steve Myers and other people who have provided the capitalization to create a studio in places that you may not want to park your car at night. But here we are. My name's Terry Bankert. This is, give me a call at 235-1970, area code 810-235-1970, and I'll answer your questions. On Friday the 7th, the Google thread, this is my week in review of my Good Morning Flint. And I've posted these, and if anybody wanted to talk about it in depth, you can call. But the article was Forbes. Forbes said Flint's one of the trashiest places to live in the planet. And, some of us are, don't agree with that at all. Because what Forbes fails to understand is Flint is conditioned to react to industrial downturns. Most locales have an industrial multiplier of 3. Flint's always had a multiplier of 1.5, which means for every auto worker's job, there was 1.5 other jobs. In other locales, it's 3, which means that if that industrial unit has a significant downturn, there are towns that react harsher than what the reaction in Flint is. Now, any reaction has a dramatic effect because we're running so close to the line. But what Forbes didn't understand is that in Flint, we're clearing land, we're improving roads, we're in the process with not getting in the way of the private sector and allowing downtown to be rebuilt. Just north of downtown, the number 1 general university in the world, University of Michigan, has a large campus. And 3 miles away on a newly paved boulevard is the number 1 engineering college in the world, as far as I'm concerned, Kettering University. And so we're redoing ourselves. We're putting dorms downtown Flint for University of Michigan. Stuff is happening. Forbes took a snapshot without understanding the trend line, but, they're idiots. What can I say? And if Forbes would ever like to debate me directly on that question, whether or not I think they're idiots, they're more than welcome to send a representative on this program. So yesterday, on August 7th, I read another national publication trashing my hometown. Where is it worst? According to their analysis, Ohio was number 1. Flint was on the list. In talking about this, it wasn't so much that Forbes had trashed us again, because a lot of magazines give us cheap shots, but I took a look at what's going on in our city government right now, and here we got Forbes trashing us, so the world sees this kind of junk. The economic decline in Flint, in terms of people are leaving this town in droves. I'm a family law attorney, and the number of families where mom's going back with her family and dad's moving to Wyoming to follow work, they're commonplace now. So we got the impact that it's had on Flint. General Motors' own economic decline, I mean, they're on the verge of bankruptcy, but we're trying to work with them to get more work here. They're going to survive. They're not going to go away. Well, what do our city leaders do? Oh, let's raise taxes. That's just nuts. And I guess the end result of my story here is I think any proposed tax increase in the city of Flint is going to fail, and whoever puts it on the ballot is going to get taken out of office. That's my personal feeling. I think we're tired of this stuff, and people are no longer believing in their governments, and anybody that wants to survive an incumbency better believe that. My name's Terry Bankert. This is FlintTalkRadio.com. Give me a call at 235-1970, area code 810-235-1970. Again, I'd like to talk about the blog Energy Alternatives Internet Advisor. I'd like you to take a look at it. It's got a primer on it in terms of what is renewable energy, review of some of the basics. And the focus of this one, and this is what I hope will make it, this is my mission statement. This is a Joe Potatoes Ma Kettle internet site. Yes, we're going to provide you with the summary of the best blogs on the planet on alternative energy, but we're also going to focus on what can you do tomorrow. What can you do with your car to increase your gas mileage? What can you do with your house to decrease your energy needs? What can we do to help get tax incentives on our properties for certain alternative energy initiatives? And what the heck should we be telling our elected officials to do? My theory is, if somebody that's running for public office is standing in front of you, and if they don't have a position on something to do with alternative energy that affects the jurisdiction that they're running for, and if they don't have an answer for you, shut the door and call up the next guy, because we can't allow to have elected people out there that don't these breaking issues. My name's Terry Bankert. This is FlintTalkRadio.com. This is my program, Liberal and Live. Appreciate your watching this program today. Steve, I'm going to end it just about now. And if you have suggestions for guests, if you'd like to be on the program, or if you have comments about the blog entries on Good Morning Flint, post to flinttalk.com or send me an email, attorneybankert@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.